Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. An absolute pleasure to be with you here today. Thanks for taking time. Huge congrats on this incredible show.
Oh, thank you.
I guess the concept of a psychopathic manny, played by Jack Whitehall in this very luxurious setting, kind of a no-brainer. But what was the specific appeal for both of you for the show?
Exactly as you say, a psychopathic Jack Whitehall alongside David Duchovny and the lovely Christine Adams
and
Clarice Van Houten.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know...
Yeah, the setting, the script, and, you know, just all the character dynamics. Yeah. Obviously, the sort of friendship that we have with Nat and Jamie and what that really looks like when they're the sort of wealthy, you know, friends, and how we sort of fit into that, and the kind of different status levels between, you know, obviously Nat and Jamie at the very top, and then we're sort of somewhere. And then you bring in this guy from the outside who somehow manages to kind of cut through all of that very quickly. So I think, yeah, those sort of relationship dynamics. I mean, wherever you set a show, however the setting, whatever, if it's not about, if the dynamics of relationships aren't in there, then it doesn't sort of hold together. And I think that's what's really good about the show, is that actually you believe those relationships and friendships and all the different tensions. You believe that they've been friends for a long time, don't you? And they've had these holidays year in, year out, because there's a certain comfort level between them and the way they talk about it. So it's quite interesting when you bring in this dangerous outsider.
Yeah. And also, from the first time reading it, there were some proper gasp out moments which are coming for everyone, which I wish I could reveal.
I know, you can't.
Now, you really can't. But even by the end of the first episode, there's some moments where you go, did Jack Whitehall's character really do that?
Yeah.
And it only gets worse, believe me. And so reading that for the first time and going, how are we going to film that? You know, because it's dark.
It's dark, yeah.
And what I love about it is the tone, because you're sort of like, are we in a dark comedy, or is it more of a kind of psychological thriller with comedic undertones? You know, there's a bit of talented Mr. Ripley in there, but then there's also something maybe a bit satirical. And I guess that's partly, you know, knowing Jack comes from comedy, you know, so you're kind of have certain expectations around how he's going to play a character. Yeah. So was that something for you all to kind of play with in that kind of grey zone? Yeah,
I think that's a really good point, actually. I think you know, James Woods writes satire very well, and we are kind of poking fun at these characters that we're seeing as well. You know, hopefully, you know, the audience, it's easy not to take this too seriously. It's okay that it's a revenge thriller and we're kind of poking fun at these characters who are all away on holiday together, who come back and some terrible things happen. But it doesn't feel like it's making a big, bold political point. It's actually a really good ride, the show.
And was it fun seeing Jack take on this character?
Yeah.
I mean, and he's kind of like put through his paces, you know, making cocktails, cooking, dancing. Yeah. It's kind of how we haven't seen him before.
All of him is put through his paces.
Yeah, definitely.
We get to see all of him.
I mean, not to reveal anything.
Not to reveal anything, but all of him revealed.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure, you know, obviously I haven't spoken to Jack about, you know, his process, but for him that's quite a leap out of what he does. And also I think when you're coming in and you're working with sort of established actors like, you know, David Duchovny and sort of sitting, thanks. And sitting, you know, I knew, all right, and and sitting around a sort of, you know, a table together, it's kind of like, you know, everyone sort of has to raise their game a little bit. And I think, you know, he was really focused and worked really hard because he had a lot to do, not just with the sort of the dialogue and the character, but all the kind of stuff that he had to do with the making of the cocktails and, you know, all that stuff. It was a big role to, you know, big shoes to fill, but I think he does it brilliantly.
Did you have a favourite moment on set where like anything went wrong or it was just hilarious to watch?
Those long dinner party scenes were really the most fun.
I did like our late night swim.
Our late night swim.
Yeah,
was
we'd
good.
been building up to that for a long time.
You were making some noises as you were going under the water in quite a heavy dress.
We had a lovely late night swim sequence, which frankly, after a sort of 12-hour day in the boiling hot sun, that did feel really nice. And I actually can't believe that they let us go in the water in those beautiful clothes. But I did almost drown because my skirt was so heavy, health and safety, which I didn't really think about. But
all those streaks that you see in that scene are kind of a bit real. She's going, get off me, get off me.
And just very quickly, you know, in terms of what you can take away from the show, I mean, one of the things James was mentioning is, you know, do we have a bit of an obsession with people who pretend to be someone they're not? When you think of like Baby Reindeer or, you know, Tinder Swindler, and there's kind of an undercurrent to that, do you think? Of, you know, or people you let into your home, can you ever really trust them?
Yeah, well, I think nowadays as well, we all think we're so good at having a sense of people because it's so at our fingertips. You know, you can look someone up, you can look at their
we're all a bit
social
armchair
feed.
detective-y,
So everyone
aren't
just
we?
goes, sure, and have a look. But also, we are still inviting people into our home and assuming that what we're seeing is real and is true. So maybe ask a question about that too, about how much you actually believe, because he's created a whole false narrative for himself, and enough to let Jamie, who is a very successful businessman, you'd imagine would be aware of who he lets into his home, of us two as a couple with young kids who are happy to let someone like that into their home. That's, maybe people aren't as discerning as they imagine.
But they like to think they are.
They like to think
definitely.
they are.
I think we're in that age
Until
as well because of
in their beds.
Until,
I'm just saying.
Like now with the internet, everybody can sort of sleuth, can't they, themselves? So I think that's probably I think we've all been always obsessed like with detective stories and thrillers, those always, but something about where we are now, like Baby Reindeer, like immediately we can sort of go out there ourselves and dig around and see what you can find and look at people's Instagram. So I think that's part of it as well, that I think as a culture, we've kind of all started to get more invested in the mysteries, you know.
Thank you so much for sharing all that with me. Huge congrats on the show. Can't wait for everyone else to see it.
Thanks so much. Thanks for your time.